Climo?
Yeah, he helped design that. It said that course in Orlando.
Oh, I've never played that one. I've never played that one. There's I've played one in Orlando, but that was years ago. Yeah.
Like that one was on a sidewalk up for alligators. That's the one I played on. I can't remember what it was. Designed by that famous golfer. This golfer was eaten by an alligator. What? This golfer was eaten by an alligator a couple of months ago in Florida. I heard more about this. Yeah. He went in to get some clips down and he went in. Shit, yeah. Oh yeah. He died. There's gators. I'm not going anywhere near that. There's a sign there to watch out for gators. Yeah.
All right. Thank you for the tripod. This is awesome. Okay. All right. So a couple things to go over. I want everybody to hear this, but I saved this some of this for the end because I want this to be on video also. All right. So first off, everyone did great. Did everybody feel good about like sort of where we were at, which is like you know what to work on? Something's still better, something's not yet. Like you get it, right? Yeah. I mean, we've identified it. I mean, this is what the video's for. This is the roadmap to exactly what you need to move on. It's like you can't. I would think it's like taking a martial arts class. You take one day of martial arts class, you're not black belt, but you have the skills, and then you have everything to keep working on, and you just get that. Just follow this path. Everybody's running up. We expect everybody to be doing good. Just a couple things. The first is I showed everybody here how to throw the backhand. I'm going to talk to the camera. You guys can see me, right? Okay. I just showed you all how to throw the backhand wrong. Okay. I keep thinking, not that it would be funny to die, but it'd be hilarious to die right after that sentence. Oh my God. It would be, right? So every time I say that, I pause and give it a couple seconds. No. Okay. I did show everybody how to throw the backhand wrong. And I'm going to explain why, and I'm going to explain how you're going to transition from that. Because the thing that I do is I don't teach the end result. The end result is that YouTube video where they show you the end result and you try to do it and it doesn't work. It doesn't work. What I teach is the process to get there. So when I was walking through, some of you may have caught this, maybe all of you, but at the beginning when I was walking through the steps, we went, I'm sorry, let me back up. What I had you do is I had you on the first step go forward, and then I have you on the second step go all the way back, and then I have you leave the disc out there for a full one count as you plant your foot, and then I have you throw. Now, if you watch the Pro Tour, you'll notice that very few people, if any, actually bring the disc back here and leave it here for a full step before they throw. That's not how they throw, and they're not throwing wrong. The reason I do this, the reason I teach it this way, because this is the way that works, is I need your body in a certain position when that plant foot, that final step, hits the ground. And so the way we do this is we have you get into position first, one step early, and then you check. Is your weight above your hips? No. Is your head back? Yes. Is your arm on a line? No. Is your wrist straight? No. And we get your body in the position it is going to be at the moment that plant foot hits the ground. But we're getting you there early so we can stop, do all the adjustments here. That way, when you take your step, nothing is moved, bam. That's the position you want to be when you throw. So that's the first thing we did and why I did it. But the second reason is, remember, the plant foot has to hit the ground before the rest of the body moves forward, or else the whip doesn't crack. So what we do is we completely over exaggerate that step. We get everything set in position, done. And then you take your step back, plant, pause. You always pause at this step. The reason I have you pause is because we want to make sure, did that foot hit the ground? Yes. Okay, are you sure that foot hit the ground? That the plant has to hit the ground first. Okay, yeah, the foot's on the ground. Are you positive? Yes, I'm positive. Okay, like we're completely over exaggerating. This is on the ground to the point where we pause, because then and only then can things begin to move forward. We have to imprint, plant first, then everything else. If you don't do that, you never have snap. If you're not planting first before everything else moves forward, 10 years from now, you're going, God, why am I not quite getting this? Like, you have to do that. So these are the steps that we use to get there. Now, that's not how I want this to end for you. Where it's going to end and where I want you to get to is, instead of the disc going back on your X step, I want the disc to get to the furthest point back as the plant foot hits the ground. All you're going to do, well, one of two things. One, it might happen naturally, but if it doesn't happen naturally, give it a month. All you're going to do is, instead of the disc moving back on this step, you're going to move the disc back at half speed so you can do this step and this step. And ultimately, this foot hits the ground as the disc is going back. But when you evolve to doing that, you will already know what it feels like to plant before you throw. So you'll have it imprinted that foot hits the ground before you move forward, and your time will be correct. So again, all you're going to do is, instead of going 1, 2, you're just going to move the disc back slower and go 1, 2, 3. Make sense? Okay. But what I've learned is that if I teach the final result, 3 of you will get it, and at the end of the day, 3 of you, the time is still kind of wonky. The way we teach it, everybody is planting first before you're moving. Everybody's got it. So this is the best way to learn, in my experience. Next, remember, you're hitting these points, right? You're going to be, everything's on a line, the weight's above the hips, the wrist is straight, the head goes with the body. You plant first, you pull the disc across the body where you're strongest. You don't swivel, you don't go up and down with your disc or the body. You keep level, and you take natural length strokes. That's all you're going to do. If every one of you were to successfully do that, and successfully do those things, and then you check back in a year, at the end of a year, all 6 of you are going to have different throws. Like, some of you are going to move the disc forward on this step, but some of you are going to wind up stepping first and moving the disc forward during the X step because your backswing goes back faster. I don't care about any of those details. They're irrelevant. As long as you're hitting the points you're supposed to hit, you are going to find a natural rhythm of your timing. Don't follow what anybody else is doing. Just follow these steps. And it's going to sync up based on your body. But they're not going to look alike. So everything now is a starting point. Remember I taught you rules A, B, C, D, E, and F. But how your body moves between them is ultimately going to be completely up to you, as long as you hit all those points, right? Okay, final thing, and then before we throw, everybody, and when we do the walkthroughs, I want you to keep doing the step, pause, step, pause, step, pause. Pause after each step. The reason why is because I want the video of you in the right position so we can address everything you're doing. Like, you're here, stop, check your wrist. That's a reminder to make sure you're checking to make sure your wrist is straight. You're reaching back. Okay, check, you're leaning. Remember, you got to be upright. We're going to go step by step. Now, as far as how you put those steps together, because obviously you're not going to go step on forever. As soon class tomorrow, you can start trying to put the whole thing together. Here's what you're going to do. Try to put the whole thing together. On the backhand, if the disc is flying on the line you're aiming, if it's coming out with snap, you got to be snapping out of your hand on the line that you're aiming, give or take a little bit, but just not radically off, and the nose isn't going up. If those three things are happening, flat, snap, on the line, you're good to go. Keep putting the step. You put the whole thing together. If any of those three things aren't happening, no snap, you're radically missing the line, or the nose is up, it means you're not ready to put all the steps together yet. Slow it down, step by step again. And be willing to do that, not for like a week, I mean for like 5 minutes, an hour, a day, whatever. But put the steps and then try to put them together again. If you're not hitting all three of those things, go back to step by step. In my experience, if you're willing to stop and go back step by step, that's how it's going to click for you. It'll click for everybody 100% for sure. If you put it all together and you're just committed to like, I'm just going to make it work, I believe that some of you will never get it. If you're not willing to keep doing the step by step, you have to do the step by step until you get that part down. With the sidearm, it's really easy. It's the same thing. The disc has to snap out of your hand, and it has to fly without the nose up. That's all you're doing, with also little wobble. So, free to start putting the steps together, but be willing to go step by step. That's all you're gonna do. All right, sound good? All right. So we're gonna have. It does not matter the order. We'll have everybody throw a sidearm first, except you'll throw a backhand first. Oh wait, you're throwing lefty sidearm. All right, so both of you are going to throw sidearm. You two are going to throw sidearm. You four are going to throw. I mean, sorry, you're throwing righty backhand. So yeah, I'm sorry. So you're going to throw lefty backhand first. All five of you, the four of you are going to throw righty sidearms, and then we'll switch cameras. You're going to do both. You people confuse me. All right, so it doesn't matter the order. Step on up. And by the way, bring a handful of discs. We might nail it on one throw. We might take a bunch of throws. This is the part of the day where everybody is tired and wants to go, but we can't rush through this. This is the most important thing that you paid for, is what we're doing here. So we're not going to rush through it. Does anybody have to get out of here early? If so, you can jump to the front of the line. No? Okay. All right. So backhand. That's your keypad right there. So use this as a pad because want you to do is just a little bit of swivel on the wrist. Feel the nose pop up a little bit. Let's try one more time, a little bit farther down. That one's right. Remember, follow through that way. Even if you anti-turn, I don't care. It turns over too much. Let's try again. You can feel that happening a little bit, right? Yeah, I mean, mechanically it's so close, but since I've seen you do it without that, I want to make sure we get a good one. You ready? So go ahead and don't try to get back. Don't just pop it over as an analyzer. It doesn't matter which way you do this. Okay, notice something happening on that one. I don't know if it happened on the other ones, but you can come back a little bit. I know you can do it, and I know you feel it. Yeah, it is at the end of the day. It's always hard at the end of the day, but I still want to get. I've seen you so good. there definitely was a swivel, but it popped out your hand. So that's okay. So do that same one to pull the anhyzer. You'll see. By the way, when you watch that last bit clip, you'll see the head movement being it stayed back that time, which is why it popped out. Which is why it popped out the wrist. Don't try to Okay, that was better. We're going to go and use that one. I mean, it's not exactly right, but I think you know it's right. You feel it? A little bit. Okay. All right. So right off the bat, of all 6 people and the 3 things three main things we worked on, your backhand was the toughest one because it was the closest to correct, which is a compliment. It means you're throwing well. It's a double-edged sword because it gets better if your form's bad because there's like way more room to fix. It was really just subtle things. A couple things you're doing, if you remember, the first thing is before you had more circles, you were kind of doing this motion here, which we want to get you straight into the line. There was something about the timing I didn't like when you put the throw together, and I couldn't put a finger on it. But your timing is better now. I think you'll see it when you watch the before videos, because you were planting first. When you see the before video, you correctly plant first. But the timing is going to be better when you imprint what you're doing right here. The big thing for you is that there's that little bit of swivel. It's not a massive thing, but when that nose goes up on the disc, if you see a little bit of the top of the disc, that's like 30 feet of distance you're losing with the exact same power throw. Just keep working on that. Just have it in your mind. If you see the top of the disc, it's because you are swiveling this direction, and you got to come just a little bit more over the top. I would tell you right now, because the way you threw before was basically correct, which was you were bring the disc back 1, 2, like you're supposed to, not bring it back early. Go ahead and transition to that right away. Like if we had 5 more minutes, I would tell you. Everyone else, I would say, keep working on the step-by-step way we're doing it. You already had it right, but you're the only one that had the footwork really right. Mechanically. So you jump back to the steps you had before. The big things are just don't do the circles, pull in a straight line, and that little bit of swivel. That's the big thing. We got way more gains on your sidearm and the putting in the backhand. They were backhand. Your backhand was close. All right. So who's up?
Sure. I'm ready for it.
All right, sidearm.
Yep. Okay. All right, I gotta remember. Weight upright and forward. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so we're doing 1 take. That's fine.
Okay.
Well, I mean, did that feel really good?
Yeah.
Okay. So the big thing for you is that make sure that we didn't start over. Everybody's different. We didn't start over on your form. We just had you do what you were doing before. But make sure that when you're stepping, don't step sideways. Make sure when you step, don't step 45 degrees. Commit to that forward throw, or forward foot. Because that forward foot is what pulls the hips forward, and the hips pulling forward before the upper body is what puts tension on that spring, which is where the power in the core is coming from. You had a tendency to both throw off your back leg back here, and also to throw from down here off your back leg. Just think about the outfielder. The outfielder doesn't throw from down here, you're throwing from up here. So just basically do what you did right there. Just make sure that you're standing upright and not in back leg and stepping forward and throwing like this. But that mechanically is like that's cool. Okay, cool. Good job. All right, who's up?
Forehand?
Yeah. All right.
this.
Yeah, like this. 1, 2, elbow in front. Yep, there you go. Step forward and throw. So even right there, without
Still throwing the pizza.
without the disc, your hands turn like this.
You're holding my wrist like this.
It is. It's
Just kind of an awkward movement.
yeah. I mean, basically, the big thing you're doing.
When I throw over, I end up doing like a roller.
Right. Well, that's because you're coming up here. Throw sideways across your body. This is not easy. This is not easy for anybody. So whatever you do not get frustrated. But it needs to get fixed because this is a barrier to getting better. Step and throw. So the thing is that whenever you don't have a disc in your hand and you're going through the motions, you're going through like this and serving the pizza. You're not karate chop. You're slapping. Slap. Yep, but it's not an overhand. You're here, but you're here. That motion. It's not this. You're not like it's not a karate chop where you're hitting the person with this part of your hand. You're slapping them. Yep, there you go.
And I throw it on the ground though.
Well, that's because, but you're not throwing up here. That's down. It's a sidearm. It's going to be across your body like this. It just has to be across your body, but without that. I know you're going to get it. I mean, just identifying what to do and having it on video is going to work. Everything just clicks at different speeds. Better. Okay, so you kind of stepped in through at the same time, but that was way better as far as the wrist. It wasn't like that was not your work on the wrist. But you didn't serve the pizza. Okay, so let's go ahead and use that. Yeah. Okay, so the big thing for you, it is 1, 2, stop, get the elbow forward. Always got to get the elbow forward. Make sure that you're stepping forward, but also stepping first. But the big thing for you, and I'm going to do this at the camera, is that if that disc, remember your baseline throw is a 15-degree anhyzer. If it's a 15-degree anhyzer, then your wrist is moving at a 15-degree anhyzer. It is not up here. That's a roller. If you did this, it's a roller, right? It's this right here. It's a cross. And when it's a cross, it's here. It's never leading with the pinky side of the hand. It's never this. If you throw like this, that disc does this, and then it flies with the nose up through the whole flight. So anytime you throw a sidearm and you see the top of the disc, I don't have to watch you throw. If you can see the top of the disc, when you threw, you served with your palm up. So you're getting it right when you're up here at the roller angle, but as soon as you're turning it down, you're serving the pizza. I'm not worried about you getting it. As long as we can identify what it is and you can feel what it is, you'll get it, right?
Yeah, right.
Practice. Step first, yeah, but now you know what to do. Here's what I want you to do, though. I don't like the fact that we haven't nailed this at this point because I wanted you to have it before we left. So if 2 weeks, 3 weeks from now, if you haven't gotten it, if it hasn't clicked, message me. There's no more charge. I'm not charging any more money. Message me in 2 or 3 weeks, and we'll get together on a Zoom meeting, or send me a slow motion video. We'll take a look at it. So if you're not getting it in like a couple weeks, don't think, oh, I paid for it, didn't get it. It just means I haven't done my job yet. Fair enough. Yeah, all right, sounds good. Thank you. All right, here's that. All right, ready? Yeah. All right, let's go. All right, so that's your keypad. So no, so step like that's gonna be the keypad. So step right there. Okay. And you were at window, right? Yeah. Okay, give yourself a little bit of room for the step. You ready? Stepping forward. No, the first step is up here in front of you. Well, the first step is your arm straight. Like this. And no, sorry. So put your feet together. Step 1, left foot forward. Good step to here. Second step, swing around like this. There we go. Good job on the elbow. Now step forward and throw. So make sure you're not turning sideways and then throwing across your body. It's forward, forward, step, and forward. Because I mean, I'm not worried because you've gotten the throw sometimes. It's just not happening every time. So you just have to like just do it. Okay. Like when you practice it, as long as you know the correct throw, don't try to throw too hard. Ready? 1, 2. Good. That's perfect. No, wait, don't turn your foot sideways. Now step forward. Now throw. That's it. That's exactly how you do it. So I wanted you to do one more because I think you can do better than that, but that's fine. Mechanically, that was good. That was when you watch the video. That's mechanically, like you felt it pop out of your head, right? Okay, good. There we go. Now the only thing you did there is you did a little bit of the serving the pizza. You came up a little bit like this. So you don't want to do this. Let's try one more, just a little bit higher up. But I mean, it wasn't a bad throw. Did it feel good? I mean, that one felt better, right? Okay. I like it. There you go. 1, 2. That's your throw. So not perfect, but mechanically that's good. All right. So for you, make sure you're walking forward. Don't start walking forward and then get sideways and then throw across your body. Remember, it's a forward-facing throw. Make sure that when you're disc, all the disc is going to do is this motion, here to here. It just, I mean, the disc itself just does this. It goes from here to flat. It doesn't go up here. Which is like you're on the verge of doing that, but you're not doing it, but you're almost doing it. Make sure it's doing this. Stop, get the elbow in front. Just make sure you plant first with the elbow in front. Throw the ball. Don't serve the pizza. All right, who's up? I think we have one more, 2 more. Okay. Hello. Sorry we kept him late. He was cleaning your erasers at the chalkboard. All right. So you were a pendulum.
I was a pendulum.
So first step is this way. Yep. Second step is here. Stop. The elbow in front. Remember, now step forward. But it wasn't bad though.
It wasn't bad.
No. I mean, it's like that's. It's basically like that's the throw if you keep practicing as you could. Step back a tiny bit, so make sure I don't want you to get out of the frame. 1, 2. Don't lean. Stand upright. Step up. Lean up. Then remember the throw is going to be this motion, not this motion. There we go. Yeah. Woo! These guys see that?
Yeah, good.
That was sick, right? Compared to earlier? Are you happy with that? Okay, you don't get a refund. That was really good. All right. So we did it. Remember, first 2 steps are 90 degrees. If you had a tendency sometimes to start to fudge and be a little bit forward, no. You need to be 90 degrees to allow yourself to do that full turn. The crow hop's a harder step, but if you're going to do it, you need to get the advantages that come from it, which is you're 90 degrees, the disc goes up, the disc goes back, stop, get the elbow in front, make sure you're stepping forward, upright, make sure you're upright, leading with the elbow, and then throw that disc, making sure that you're throwing the ball, not serving the pizza. Fantastic. All right, we're going to switch the camera to the other side. You're going to throw both to that side, right? All right. You got a few discs? Go and grab a few more because we're going to we'll have you throw backhand inside them. Oh, no pressure, but she's watching. I'm just saying. You don't suck anymore.
That's the game. At least I'm confident in all the various ways that I've
Yeah. All right. All right. So, no, let me make sure. I'm sorry. Let me make sure the camera's got you framed. Perfect. Okay, give yourself a tiny bit more room. So you just do the side one first. All right, go ahead. All right. So you were doing a throw hop, right?
Yes.
Okay. So start with and you did a pencil, right? Oh no, windmill.
Yeah.
Okay. 1, 2. Okay. Yeah. So 2 steps and stop.
Step
1,
together.
2. Stop. Yep. And elbow in front. And you're going to throw this way, not this way. Okay. So here. Here. Yep. So now make sure you step when you step. Make sure you step forward. Okay. All you gotta do is make sure you plant first. So it's not a step and throw. It's a step, throw.
Where did we start? This.
This is gonna start if it's gonna start like this.
Okay, that's what I was missing.
Yep. 1, 2. Yep. Step first, then throw. Okay. So here's what's happening. You're stepping sideways. Make sure you step forward, all the way forward until you feel that tension right here, because the upper body's here, the lower half is going forward, creating tension right there. And then don't try to throw hard. Don't think about arm speed, think about spinning the disc. Arm speed will come. That's the last one to worry about. 1, 2. Okay. It's a little better, but I want you to do plant a little bit earlier. Think about more than anything is just spinning that disc. Just putting spin on it. Don't worry about how far it goes. Spin. 1, 2. Stop.
Sorry.
You're good. You're good. Stop. When you throw, don't lead with the elbow and don't think about throwing hard. Step and then just spin it. How about that? You like that one? Yes, much better. Okay. All right, so that's good. We're good on that one. Okay, so you're a windmill. Remember on the windmill, the disc is starting here. The disc is going to go 1, and you're still 2 steps 90 degrees. 2. When you do that, the motion of the disc is just this. It's here. It's not coming back like this. It's going up like this, and it's going like this. You got to stop after the second step. 1, 2, elbow in front, wrist is cocked. Then when you go to throw, that foot cannot step sideways. It's got to step forward because the shoulders are sideways. The lower half of the body goes forward. Now there's tension because my shoulders are trying to stay sideways, but the hips are trying to go forward. Now they're meeting resistance. My hips can't go any farther forward because I don't stretch to 90 degrees. So when my hips keep going forward, it pulls the body in a constant state of tension right here. Then when you throw, focus on not trying to throw the disc fast. Focus on that elbow in front and then snapping the wrist and putting spin on the disc. Eventually you're going to throw fast, but for the short term, you got to spin that disc first. I like that. All right, now you want to throw backhand? Sure. All right. All right. Hold on. No. So give yourself a little bit more room. Yep. So this up here in front of your chest. Okay, there you go. 1. No. Don't turn your body forward. 90 degrees. And don't get under. First step is just this. Yep, there you go. That's a tiny step. Yep. Second step is back. That's perfect. Rotate a little bit more. Now step with your foot. Now step along. Oh, that's perfect. What do you think about that? Good. That's one take. That's easily one take. No, we don't need that. Yeah, we're in. Wait till you watch the video. That was so good. All right, so the big thing is make sure that you're staying sideways. You're not stepping forward. You're not leaning into the throw. I think we were also checking the wrist, right? So every single step, check your wrist. I think you kept it straight that time, but be diligent. Tomorrow's another day. The wrist is never bent this direction. So stop, check your wrist. Oh, make it straight. Stop, check your wrist. Hey, it's straight. Stop, check your wrist. Oops, it's not straight again. Keep trying to get it straight. Keep that weight above the hips. Big thing is make sure that on this step right here, you step without anything having rotated. Remember, the handle of the whip has to come first. So you have to step, plant. Plant's done. Now you can start that lawnmower and then don't swivel. That last stroll was really good. Like that is, I mean, because effectively that was from a standstill because you're pausing and it's like 60% power, and that was like what 230. Yeah. So as soon as you put that throw together and put a little something in, you're over 300. I don't know what you were throwing before, but
Oh, my longest throw is like 250.
okay. But that's a controlled golf shot. That's not a wow. That's a major S for like no. That was just a control. That's what a golf. That's what a golf shot's supposed to look like. When you're supposed to look controlled. Perfect. I love it. Good job. All right, ready? Whew. All right. Now you had no sidearm. Now we've got the origin story. You actually had your sidearm origin on video.
With a legend.
Oh, that just needs old. All right, ready? One.
And that will forever be on video too.
I told him to do that. He's just following directions. I covered for you. Okay, no, don't touch it. No, you gotta stop after the second step and make sure the elbows are. So, ready? 1, 2. Nope. Let's go. You were doing the sideways, and you're doing the pendulum, right?
Yeah.
So, don't lean over, just stand up. Stand right. Okay, you don't need another. Step 1, just goes up. Keep the eyes running line. Step 2, stay sideways. Stop. Now, keep the elbow in front. Now remember, you're going to step with your right foot, plant first, and then throw this way, not this way. So do it like this. Now, step with your right foot forward first, and then throw the ball. Okay, all that happened there was you step and the floor at the same time. Make sure you step first, and then get that elbow out in front as best you can. Again, you'll get mobility over time. We're giving you the starting point. Oh, one finger.
I think so.
Feel awkward?
Feels awkward though,
Yeah. I'll tell you what. Let's try one finger. You can switch to 2 fingers as soon as tomorrow. But it's a workaround in the short term. It's not none of this has to be permanent. But you're gonna get more mobility. You're gonna get more spin. 1, 2. Now when you throw, I want you to concentrate not on how fast your arm's going, but just how much you can spin the disc. So step forward and then just spin. Better. Okay, and that kind of slip off because the one finger sometimes it slips off more.
A little.
Let's try one more time. This time you won't hold it in here, so the longer you hold it, the more it starts to like let your hand sweat and it slips. Okay, ready? 1, 2. Oh wait, no, all the way back. There you go. Yes. Make the finger long finger. Okay, now step first and then spin it there. That's better. How did that one feel?
Much better.
Okay, that's the one we're gonna use. Basically, like it's your first day in the disc golf course. But that right there, watch the video. If you do that right there, tomorrow it's better, the next day it's better, next week it's better. With bad form, you never get better, or it's super slow. With what you're doing right there, that's a 300-foot sidearm, next spring. Like, for real. And that's not your goal, but, that's your spring goal with longer-term goals. Okay, so first off, we had you go to 1 finger. You can switch to 2 fingers anytime you want, but what I would do is throw with 1 finger, and then at points in the future, try 2 fingers. If the throw is just as good, cool, throw with 2 fingers. But if you switch to 2 fingers and the throw isn't flying as well, it's wobbling, you're not getting because of the lack of range of motion, because 1 finger gives you more range of motion. If that happens, be willing to go back to 1 finger. basically be willing to stick with one finger the rest of your life, but be open to switching the two fingers if it works. Just be open to letting the throw dictate what you do. So we had you're stepping sideways. Make sure you're doing a pendulum, right? So it's 1, 2, stop, wrist cocked, elbow in front. It's got to be cocked, elbow in front. When you step, make sure you step forward, and then make sure when you're stepping, you're not stepping and throwing at the same time. Stepping forward, popping those hips forward. Now there's tension because upper body sideways, the hips are coming forward. They're getting resistance. That pulls the upper body because your body doesn't turn 90 degrees. Unless you're a dancer or something like that, none of us can rotate a full 90 degrees with our hips and upper body. So when that starts to go forward, it pulls the rest of it. The whole time that's happening, the elbow has to stay in front. And what I want you to focus on is not how fast you can make your arm go. That would be how you would throw a baseball, because if a baseball doesn't spin as much, it basically flies the same. You got to focus on getting that disc to spin. Disc sidearms on a disc requires a spin. So your focus shouldn't be how fast can I make the disc fly, but instead, how much can I make the disc spin? Elbow in front, spin the heck out of the disc. Elbow in front, spin the heck out of the disc. The more spin it has, the less wobble it has, the more it's going to look like the throw you want. And then you can start adding speed, but spin's got to come first. Speed without spin is just like a wounded duck. But spin, too much spin without enough speed, flies like that. Right? That is way too much spin, but it's not hurt by the fact that it has too much spin. If it has twice as much spin, it flies the same way. It just has enough. Anything above enough is the same. So focus on the spins, because that's the hardest part about the sidearm. But once you get that, you got it. Honestly, I'm super happy with how it looks right now, because a year from now, if you keep doing it, you have a sidearm. Last thing, the challenge to you, from now on, unless you're at a tournament and your score matters, if you step up to a shot and you know it's a sidearm shot, even though your backhand is better, throw the sidearm. You're only going to get better at the sidearm if you force yourself to use it on basically 50% of the throws, because half the throws are sidearm or throws. So throw the sidearm when it's a sidearm shot, and that's what will get the sidearm. Because you need the sidearm to catch up. You've been playing for a year and a half. The sidearm's a day and a half. Sidearm's got catching up. Sound good?
Yep.
Awesome, man. Love it. But I'm so happy with that last one. That was so good. Yeah. And like I said, it's the first day of this golf course as a sidearm. So that, yeah. Good. All right, who's up? Okay. Don't throw full speed. Don't throw full. Dad, no. Don't throw full speed. Dad.
I made you.
Threaten
Full
him.
speed. Threw me off.
Threaten him. Okay. All right. 60% power. So give yourself a little more room, because that's the keypad. So you're framed in the keypad. So face me. This is up here. Upper range. Remember, 4 steps. 1, 2. Okay, don't lean. Don't get the disc here. Just don't stop. It's the same thing. Okay, now step. Then thrust. Okay. Now, okay, we're going to do one take on that. Did you see how much control that had? Like, that's a golf shot. That went, like, basically where you're aiming, right? Okay, so first off, I'm not telling you not to throw full speed. I'm saying don't throw full speed until you've got your technique down. When you throw full speed, your body's going in all these different directions and it's out of control, which means you're effectively practicing wrong. Every time you throw full speed, you're getting practice reps in the wrong way, which is going to counter you practicing the right way. No turbo putts. No, it's not a Stokely putt. So what I'm going to challenge you to do is throw with just correct form until you can do that correct form every time. It doesn't take a year. I'm saying give it a few weeks. And the payoff is going to be years of being better at disc golf because of it. Because when you practice that form, you're practicing wrong. So 60% power for like a week, 2 weeks, something like that. Okay, everything is up here, and it's just simple mechanical motions. Everything's flat, wrist is straight. 1 up the line, 2 down the line, 3 nothing moves but the foot, 4 start the lawnmower, which your dad can show you videos of what that looks like. It's not pressing an app, and you pull, and then you don't swivel. A couple things you were doing. Number 1, even on that one, it wasn't perfect. You're gonna see this. You went here, you went to here, stop, and through from here. You don't want to do that. You want to start from here and pull straight across. I want to use the video because so much else was right. But one of the things your dad can observe is that will happen. Is that if you're going here and going here, effectively that means you're throwing from here. You're wasting from here to here if you stop. So keep working on pulling all the way from there. Another thing is sometimes that didn't happen on that throw, but the nose was going up on the disc. You see the top of the disc. You did have a tendency sometimes to swoop down here. If the disc, you're seeing the top of the disc, or it's coming out with hyzer, it's because you're throwing from down here. Make sure you're throwing up here. Just, I'm telling you, if you don't try to throw hard, you will get so much better, so much faster. And I'm only not telling you to not throw hard for like a week or 2. It's not a 5-year plan. It's like a week or 2 of not throwing hard. But once that form's good, you can start throwing harder and harder. Eventually, you can throw full speed. This isn't one of those games where you always play at 80%. That's not the case. This is like pitching a baseball. You go at 100% when you have proper form. It's not like ball golf where you always swing at 80% because you'll miss the ball if you don't. It's temporary. But stick to working on proper form in the short term and you'll get this. And you'll get really good really quick. Promise. That was so much better. By the way, Christine, that was 60% power with the mid-range. It's still 300 feet. That's still as far as half the holes on probably what the course is playing with the mid-range. Oh, here, go ahead and move the disc because that's the key. Unbelievable. All right, let's see. Check the wrist. There you go. 1. Push it forward a little bit. 1. Good. Yeah, that's a really good position. Okay, step. Pull. Okay, I love everything about that except right then you give it a little bit of a swivel, just the tiniest little bit. Do the exact, everything else, I mean, it sounds good, right?
We're getting there.
Yeah, I did. No, it's there. It's getting there. 1, 2. Don't lean. If you're down here, that disc is coming like this. It's going to be upward. It's like you should be standing down. Push it around. All right, now step. Stay upright. 45%. Okay, so same thing you did this. Now try it again. I want to see you get one of these sessions because I've seen you throw a bunch and you didn't. Go ahead and throw a little bit of the hand. Go ahead and just turn it over a little bit. You need a little more room. That's it. Close the back. Close the right now. 1, 2. Body. Plant your foot. Slight in. Got it. You can do it. I believe. I'm a believer. All right. So make sure you turn over way. So if you throw it flat, it's one goes up. And high. Ready? 1, 2. Foot. Out now. Got it? Okay. I like it. We're gonna use it.
All right.
So basically, the form on your first 2 throws was better, but you swiveled your wrist. On the last one, you didn't swivel. On the form wasn't as good. So I'm going to put those out. But I like, you got all the pieces. So I want to just use those. But the form on the first 2 were good up until the swivel. So first off, check your wrist. Make sure your wrist is not doing this at any point. So every step, stop, check your wrist, go forward, stop, check your wrist, go back, stop, check your wrist. Oh, darn, fix the wrist. But you gotta check every step of the way. Go ahead in the short term, go ahead and take the disc and then start with it at a slight anhyzer and then keep that slight anhyzer angle. That way you can pull it and exaggerate it more turned over. It's not just turned over because you could incorrectly throw an anhyzer and still swivel your wrist, putting the karate chop or the palm down, and still pop that nose up even at an anhyzer angle. So it's the anhyzer angle, but you must do a continuation to roll over like this. Remember, you're backhanding somebody, you're not karate chopping. Make sure that when you do the backswing, you're not leaning down because we're trying to get you to not do this motion right here. So you have a tendency, and I'm going to do this away from the camera, at times on your backswing to get into this position here. I'm exaggerating. But when that left shoulder is above your right shoulder, look where that disc is. There's no way that's going to do anything other than this. So instead, make sure that you're upright here, you're upright there, you plant your foot, because you're upright, and you pull that disc straight across and then follow through down. I mean, you're getting your throw. Best advice for you, go take your kid out for a couple rounds of disc golf this week. It's the last week you're ever going to beat him. No offense. But he has skills. So go beat him into submission while you can, because it's not going to last. So, which I hope that's the best thing you can say to a dad, right? Okay. Yeah. So I'm just being honest with you. Enjoy this week. Yeah. It's the last time you've given him strokes on the course to make it even. But other than that, no, I mean, but everything looks good. It's so much better than it was before. You have the throw, and I'm basically half kidding too. He may shred you on the long courses because he's going to be throwing 500 feet before long, but you have everything you need to go out to a course like Bradley or any type of course in the woods and put together a good round and beat anybody. So it's all, the 10,000 foot courses, whatever, but on your regular city park courses, you can be competitive with him for a long time, like at least a month. All right, who's up? That's the truth, man. I'm sorry. You have all the skills. I'm telling you, the natural ability you have is sick. You've seen it.
That's over here.
Yeah, no, it's there. Just hone it in. All right. Step back a little bit.
Step back.
Yep.
All right.
Put the disc up here. Make sure the wrist is straight. Yep. Okay, there you go. All right, one. Hand off the disc. No, hand down. There you go. Go. Do that one more time. The only thing is you're
still pulling it. Yeah,
a little bit here. Something you felt it.
Yeah.
But you feel the difference.
Now that I know what I'm looking for.
The difference between now and before, though, you already feel the difference, right?
Oh yeah. I'm getting snapped most of the time.
Yes. Like it's good.
Yeah, much better.
Yes. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's just have one more.
I think I did, but not as exaggerated that time.
No, but that's if you did a little bit of a swivel.
That's how I swivel. Okay, gotcha.
Just a little bit. That's really good. Okay. All right. So everything's good. Make sure you check your wrist. You also, just like everybody, just not but like half the people, your wrist is, cocked in the wrong direction. Make sure it's straight. Your wrist naturally tilts down like this. That pour the coffee thing, that's not a wrong position to be in. When I said don't pour the coffee, I just mean don't put your wrist in an unnatural position. If your wrist naturally sits that way, which it does, I think it does a little bit, more than mine. Don't worry about it. Just make sure it's in its natural position. If it's tilted a little bit, that's fine. That's your wrist. But make sure it's not bent this direction. Make sure it's straight. The two big things for you is the first, you are going here and throwing from there. When you see it on video, the only thing to correct it is stop doing it. Just but being aware it matters. One thing that can help is you can do shorter throws and be here and at a shorter throw go one motion. Bam. and practice that one motion. Also, if you practice visualize the lawnmower, like you would never start a lawnmower like this, right? You have to do this with a lawnmower. It's all the way to here. So go ahead and just kind of visualize that. You'll get it. Just be aware of it and occasionally videotape yourself. But when you go here and then throw from here, you're effectively throwing from here. Mostly. That's a finesse throw. It's not a power throw. So make sure you're not doing that. And then make sure you're not swiveling. You did on the last throw. You are some other throws. Not every time. It looks so much better. But basically, make sure that you're not karate chopping with the palm down. Make sure that you're backhanding the person, not karate chopping. All right. That's good though. All right. Ready? Next. I got it. All right, we got this. One, two. Hold on. So remember, don't get into that athletic meeting. Like you're getting shorter step. No, you're not. No. See, you're still basically getting into position like you're getting in position to do this throw. It's not. It's just casual. It's here, and then it's here. You're just standing up. You stand up and rotate your body. But getting into position to throw it's counterintuitive, but that arm to throw doesn't help it. One, better. Now plant your foot. Hold the circle on more. Yes, better. That was so much better. It wasn't perfect. I want to do it again, but you'll see on the video. First off, it looked really good. The thing that I didn't like was that when you went to go throw, you were leaning forward. You were still leaning forward, which popped that nose one to this. Okay. But it's less than before. Like you're moving the right direction. Yeah. All right. So make sure this time you're gonna stay upright. 1, 2, 3. Yep, throw. Better. You see the difference? Yeah. Okay, we're gonna use that one. This is actually great because you'll see your before video where you're leaning a lot. You'll see that first video where you leaned less, and you'll see that video where you leaned even less. You can still lean even less. You still want it to be upright. This is how to look at it. It's like this. If you were throwing this direction, if this was your body, this was your feet, and this was your head, and you were throwing this direction, only two things are happening. Number one, your body is going up the tee pad, right, vertically, and number two, you're rotating. You rotate this way and you rotate that way. But your body, if it was a stick figure, should do this: womp, womp. Right? It's not womp, leaning back, womp, leaning forward. It's just above. It's all about how fast you rotate, not how much you lean and pull and extend back and forth this way. It's all about rotational speed. And rotational speed comes from being above your hips like the figure skating. Make sure you're checking your wrist for sure. Make sure that when you throw, you're not swiveling your wrist. Make sure you're backhanding the person, not karate chopping them. But and also make sure that you're not coming forward, not just leaning forward, but you're not throwing from forward, right? Make sure you're pulling here and pulling across your body sideways. I love that last throw. When you see the last throw, like that was the best throw of the day. Or you may have had some better ones I saw, but the best one I saw. So it's perfect because like this is how I look at it. You start here, you're trying to get to here. Right now you're about here, like in a day. But as long as you keep going this direction, you're going the right way, right? Just don't stop here. Keep improving. So make sure you're staying upright. Just like I said to someone else, I think the best thing for you is you're gonna have to videotape yourself to see if you're doing it, because you don't really feel if you're doing it. So just videotape yourself. Shoot a video, watch the video. Right? If you're throwing and leaning all the way forward, be aware and work on correcting it. You'll get it. Thank you. Yeah, you bet. All right, is that everybody on drives? Okay, grab putters. All right. All right. It's so great. Okay, so we're gonna have you putt at the basket, but we're gonna move the camera closer because I want to make sure you're bigger on the screen. Don't hit the camera. That'd be a terrible putt.
I putted in front of Joe Mass cameras, okay?
Did you? Okay, good. You're good then. All right. All right. And I'll go ahead and just grab one putter. All right, let's see this one. Okay. I like it. Let's just do a little bit more, being a little bit more forward, and then rotating a little bit. Yeah, there you go. Just like the words commit. Just commit to that.
And I missed.
Oops. Okay, we're gonna paint the pole down and up. Right down and straight up the pole, and then follow through at the pole. There you go. Oh my God, that is so good. Is it starting like did it over time? Is it feeling less awkward?
A little bit.
Okay. All right. So that last one was great. So here's what we're gonna do. This is the trickiest putt. Usually it's about one or two people are doing that putt. This time it was one. Number one, your left foot cannot be facing the target. Has to be turned sideways. If it's facing the target, it will now not allow your body to rotate to 90 degrees, which is what this putt is. So you got to turn your foot to where your body's going to be at the end of the throw, not the beginning. Foot's not at 90 degrees, but it's somewhere past 45, 50 degrees, somewhere in there. You'll still got comfort zone, but it doesn't have to be 90, but it can't be 40. So somewhere 45-ish degrees. Make sure that you're at least a little bit forward. You don't have to be completely forward to start, but you don't want to be sideways because there's the rotation. You want to be at least a little bit forward so you can get to 90 degrees. So the idea is you're going to be somewhat forward, you're going to paint the pole down, and then on the way up, you're going to rotate 90 degrees, and you're going to commit. And when you commit to that 90 degrees, you're going to follow through at the target. This foot's going to come up and counterbalance you. I don't think you're going to have any problems. But this is a good putt for you. My one thing I usually say with people with this putt is because there's that little bit of uncertainty, it's a little bit awkward. Like I'm only 95% sure that this is your putt. It may feel awkward because it's not. So we'll reserve the right to be wrong. If 2 weeks from now you're like, yeah, this still feels weird, message me. There's no charge, obviously. Message me. We'll set up a Zoom meeting. We'll work on some more things. 95% chance you're going to go, yeah, this is cool. And then you have to just make sure you follow all of your right-footed. Make sure you follow all the same rules, which is you got to come down, you need to follow through, you leave your hand up, point right to target.
The golden rule.
The golden rule, yes. Other than that, though, that putt, I'm liking it. No, bad. No turbo putts.
One more, done.
No, you're good. No, wait. When you see that last putt, wait till you watch the video. You can tell when you watch video if something looks weird. You can tell an amateur versus a pro. Like you can just by watching them the way they move. When you watch the way you move on that last putt, you're gonna go, oh shit, that was smooth. You'll see it.
Okay.
That's always the judge to me. Is if it looks smooth, it's right. So your body's moving right. If it looks funky, I don't care if it goes in. It ain't right because your body's moving right. All right, who's up? Yep, anybody?
Sure.
And you were the NASCAR putt, right?
Yes.
Yes.
I forgot what we were calling it. Yeah.
Yes, it is the NASCAR putt.
Because we're accelerating from.
Yeah, so start down low.
Start low and
high.
go higher. Yep.
And then aim with your follow-up and move your hand out. Okay. Do the good putt. Do a little bit lower. You're still putting up here. Come a little bit lower.
A little lower. All right.
Yeah, just give it a little more momentum out of that turn. That's better. That's all we're doing.
Cool.
So we didn't change your putt at all from here to here, but you were poking from here to here. I think it was hard to get distance, hard to be consistent because you're kind of jabbing at it. So all we did was we didn't change your putt at all. We just started it down here and then came up. And then from here, all you're doing is aiming with your follow through and then leaving it in. That's all you're doing. kind of miss a foot to the right. But no, I like that. Thank you. All right, who's up? Yeah. But that was good. That putt, you feel the difference? Yeah. Yeah, it's good. Good putt, good putt. I mean, everybody's putt was really good. And I think the same thing with you. We just had you putt from lower, right? We had you go a little bit of a wider stance and then come down lower. Try again. Go a little bit longer then and a little bit wider. And come down between your legs just a little bit. There you go. Okay. That went right where the follow through was. Yep. So it actually was perfect. It went exactly where you follow through. Now, don't aim this putt. Just follow through with your hand right here. Don't worry about where the putt goes. Just point your hand right there. Okay, you follow through up here, small release window. Do it again. And watch, without the disc, follow through right here. And watch this. Without the disc, every time, right? Yeah. So now do it with the disc. Do it with the disc in your hand, and it's going to go right where you're following through. Watch. Yeah, that was fine. Let's do that same. Well, let's have one go in just because I want to have one go in. But it went right here. It would fall through, or it went right where you fall through. Yeah, there you go. So all we did, I believe, is again I don't change rules. We're just correcting what's wrong with the putt that you have. Unless there's something really awkward, but I believe you were putting up here. We had you putt from lower. You're gonna get more power. We had you go a little bit of a wider stance, right? A little bit longer, wider stance so you can push. Don't go down and up. It's not a down and up. It's a back and forward. And then the big thing for you is make sure you aim with your follow through and leave your hand up. If you do this, that this is going where your hand is. When you missed right, it went right. When you missed low, you followed through high, but that's because you had a tiny release one, which you followed through here. So it's going where your hand's going. And as long as it goes where your hand's going, then all you got to do is point the target. All right, who's up? All right. Okay, that was good. I mean, you got the NASCAR putt going, right? But don't come up here and here. Come down lower and then go slower. A more relaxed putt. But go down low. There you go, right down there. Watch this. That's better. Do that again, but this time put it in. Follow through right here. Nice and low. That feel good? Yeah. All right. So we did the same thing with you. It's the NASCAR spin putt. And you were starting from up here, having a hard time getting distance or having to kind of really poke at it. All we did is started down lower, accelerated out of the turn, and did that. So you just did this. Boom. And then leave your hand up into the ball. Good. Sounds good. Thank you. The big thing, I know a couple times when we were doing it, you instead of coming down here, you kind of only came halfway down. Remember you short armed it? Yeah. Make sure you just go ahead and commit to coming down here. You can come right all the way past your knees. And that's fine, yes. Yeah. And then then you get more of a reach. Yeah, and right now when you watch the video on that putt, you come here and you kind of stop because you're just learning this technique. Eventually you don't want to stop. Because then you lose the momentum, you're gaining coming out of the turn. I still like the putt, but when you actually, the more you work on it, you get to where you're coming back and forward, like in one motion. Sounds good. All right, who's up? All right. Longer stance. Okay, there you go. Okay. Smooth a slower arm speed, and then just follow through right here. All you need to do is follow through at the target. That's your only challenge. Oops. Don't putt from up here. Putt from down here. You're doing a push putt. A push putt. If you do a push putt from up here, it's going to be jerky, right? Because you're kind of short arming it. Come down here. Remember, if you're doing a push putt, you're not using your elbow and wrist. They're locked in place. Your only lever's here, so you need to give it a big, long lever to do it. There you go. And then follow through right to the target. That's better. So just do that exact time. And make sure you leave your hand up. So it's this and it's that. All right. So take a longer stance and go back and forward. Away from the target and then towards the target. Okay, feel that difference? Yeah. So you're doing a push putt. Your push putt's fine. Make sure you're not short arming it, so don't push putt from up here. If you're gonna do a push putt, elbow and wrist are locked in place. You have one lever. You need to have a big long swing. Make sure you're pushing off with your legs. So take that back leg, swing it back. That way you can push off, and then you're aiming at the target. Your hand goes to the target. You go back and forward, back and forward, and then leave that hand out. That's the big thing. Leave the hand out. All right. The last one. This the last one. All right. I'm on a roll here. Don't ruin my streak. Okay. So make sure you were doing the NASCAR, right?
I don't know what I was doing.
Okay. So try it again. Come down low, slower, much slower. Don't go to your front leg. Go to your back leg, or between your legs. Yeah. I think all we did is just lengthen your lever. Also, do that again. Okay, do that, but don't come to your front leg. That's more of a short arm. Come past your front leg. But other than that, I mean, the putt looks good. I mean, how do you feel about that? What?
We can work with that.
Yes. All right. Make sure that you're not putting from your front leg, because if you're coming from your front leg, it's such a short distance to accelerate. You're having to like jab at it. Make sure you swing it past. It can go either to your back leg or between your legs. Both of those are basically under your center. And then make sure you have a long lever, because if you do that, you can go slowly. Don't go down and up. Go back and forward. So it's long lever and then forward. That's all you're doing. Is that everybody? That's everybody, right?
That's us, for sure. Yeah, I think so.
Well, guess what? We succeeded. Told you that the after